I realized the knocking only happened when the clock hit midnight, and it never came from the same wall twice. It started normal, completely normal. I was in my apartment, sitting at the kitchen table with my laptop open, finishing some late work before going to bed. The clock on the microwave said 11:58 p.m. Sink full of dishes. Windows slightly open. TV murmuring in the background from the living room. Nothing unusual. I remember getting up to grab water, walking barefoot across the cold floor, checking my phone out of habit, then leaning against the counter for a second. That's when I heard it. A soft knock. Single. Light. From somewhere inside the apartment. Not loud. Not urgent. Just enough to make me look toward the hallway. I waited. Nothing happened. So I grabbed the water and went back to the table. The next night it happened again. Same time. Late. Quiet apartment. I was in the living room this time, half watching something on TV, half scrolling on my phone. Nothing stressful. Just killing time before sleep. Then everything went still. Not normal quiet. The kind of quiet where the TV suddenly feels too loud and the air feels thick for no reason. I muted the volume without thinking. That's when I heard it. A soft knock again. Closer this time. Somewhere near the hallway wall. My heartbeat picked up immediately. Not panic. Just that automatic tension when something feels off. I held my breath for a second, listening. Nothing. Then a faint dragging sound. Slow. Like something brushing along the inside of the wall. I stood up without realizing I was doing it. Shoulders tight. Jaw clenched. Breathing shallow, like making noise would make it worse. The apartment felt smaller, like the sound was moving through it. Another light tap. Not loud. Just there. I kept staring at the hallway, waiting for something to move or shift or fall, but nothing did. No footsteps. No voices. No pipes rattling. Just silence pressing against everything. My chest felt tight, like I had been holding air too long. Then it stopped. Just like that. No final sound. No movement. The apartment went back to normal. TV noise. Distant traffic. Air moving again. And whatever was there was gone. After that, sleep started getting weird. Nothing dramatic at first. Just waking up in the middle of the night for no clear reason. No nightmare, no noise, just eyes opening and that slow realization that it was completely silent again. The kind of silence that makes the room feel occupied even when nothing is moving. I check the time a lot. 12:01, 12:03, 12 o'clock exactly once. Always around the same window. I told myself it was stress. Late work, too much screen time, bad sleep schedule. Normal explanations. Stuff that makes sense if someone asks questions. Still, my body didn't feel normal. My heartbeat would already be fast when I woke up, like I had been running in my sleep. Breathing shallow without realizing it. Shoulders tight. Jaw sore in the morning, like I had been clenching it all night. Small things started slipping during the day. Forgetting where I left my phone. Walking into the kitchen and standing there trying to remember what I needed. Losing a few minutes staring at nothing and only noticing when the microwave clock jumped forward. I kept brushing it off. Lack of sleep does that. Anxiety does that. Old buildings make noise. Brains fill silence with patterns. Everything had a reasonable explanation if I forced myself to believe it. But the apartment didn't feel the same anymore. Corners felt heavier. Hallways felt narrower at night. I started leaving lights on without thinking about it, just small ones, enough to keep shadows from stacking up in the dark. The strangest part was when I stayed at a friend's place for a night. Different building, different neighborhood, different room. Still woke up around midnight. Still felt that same heavy silence sitting in the air. That's when it started feeling like whatever had been in the apartment hadn't stayed there. That's when I started searching. Not seriously at first. Just random late night Googling when I couldn't sleep. Stuff like midnight knocking in apartment. Waking up at midnight for no reason. Hearing sounds in walls at night. Normal curiosity, nothing obsessive. But the results got strange fast. Old forum threads, Reddit posts from years ago, comment sections buried under dead websites, people describing almost the same thing in different places and different years. Late night disturbances, soft knocking, silence before happens, waking up around midnight, feeling like something is moving closer over time. Different cities, different buildings, same story structure. Most posts ended the same way too. The person would stop updating after a few weeks or months. No closure, just silence. One thread had a comment that stood out. Someone mentioned a name like it was obvious, like everyone already knew it. The Midnight Man. No explanation, just the name dropped in the middle of the discussion, and people replying like that was enough to understand everything. I kept scrolling through similar posts after that, and the pattern was always the same. It starts small, gets closer, follows the person, and never ends well. After reading enough of those stories, it stopped feeling random. The same details kept repeating, and it started lining up with my own habits in a way that made me uncomfortable. Most of the people describing this were alone a lot. Late night routines, quiet apartments, long hours awake while everything else was asleep. The kind of schedule where midnight becomes just another normal part of the day. That was basically my life. Work late, stay up late, spend hours in silence without noticing it. Headphones on, lights low, barely interacting with anyone during the night. Plenty of time to notice small sounds, small shifts, small things most people would ignore. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized how many times I had acknowledged it without meaning to. Pausing to listen, checking the hallway, looking at the clock right before midnight, standing still when the knocking happened. That counts as attention. So I started changing small things, keeping more lights on at night, avoiding the hallway after midnight, leaving background noise running all the time, even talking less when I was alone, like saying things out loud could somehow make it worse. I caught myself checking reflections too. Windows, TV screens, dark corners of mirrors. Not expecting to see anything specific, just making sure nothing fell off. It slowly turned into constant awareness. Every sound meant something. Every quiet moment felt suspicious. Midnight stopped being a time and started feeling like a checkpoint. The worst part is that fear faded after a while. It turned into routine, and realizing I was adapting to it instead of resisting, it felt worse than being scared in the first place. The mistake happened on a quiet night when I was too tired to think about rules. I was sitting in the living room with the lights low, phone in my hand, TV running just for noise. Midnight came and went without anything happening, which almost felt like relief. Then the knock came, soft, from the wall, behind the couch. I froze, listening, waiting for it to stop like it usually did. It didn't. Another knock followed, slower this time, like something deliberately testing the space. The air felt heavy again, pressing down on the room, making every small sound feel louder than it should. And without thinking, I spoke. Just one sentence, quiet and automatic. Stop. The silence that followed felt different. Not empty, not calm, just closer. The TV audio cut out for a second, then came back. The air stayed heavy. No more knocking, no more movement. And sitting there, staring at the wall, I understood something had shifted. A boundary had been crossed. Time feels strange now. Some nights pass without anything happening, and I almost forget about it. I go through the same routine, sit in the same rooms, check the same clock, and everything feels normal enough to convince myself it's over. Then a week disappears, and I realize I've been waking up at midnight again without remembering when it started. Fear isn't the same anymore. It's dull, familiar, like background noise that never fully goes away. I still keep lights on, still leave the TV running, still avoid certain parts of the apartment after midnight without really thinking about it. It just became part of the routine. Some nights feel completely quiet, almost peaceful, but the silence never feels empty. It feels occupied. And the worst part is realizing that I'm no longer waiting for it to stop. I'm waiting to see if it's still there.